keep sinking into your blue, yeah, I keep sinking into your blue, Stars, I keep seeing stars inside your eyes. In my mind, I'm holding on to all the sparks flying through the dark while we collide. Tell me that I'm all you ever wanted. Take me to a crowded place and on the wall I see is the way that you breathe. Hit me like a hurricane and I know all I need is your love next to me. Oh, I keep sinking into your blue, yeah, I keep sinking into your blue, right into you.
All right, guys, welcome back to the live stream on the official MLB Innings YouTube channel and Come to Us USA Twitch channel. I'm your host, JayFish. Today, I'm joined by another special guest, Nick Solak of the Texas Rangers. How are we doing today, Nick?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, and we're glad to have you. And real quick, before we get started, guys, if you guys are watching the stream right now and have any questions that you would like to ask Nick, our producers are going to be looking at some chats throughout the stream, randomly select some for Q&A that we'll do for about 10 minutes at the end of the stream. And so, Nick, within our community, some people seem to think that we look like each other. And so it's to the point to where when they pull your card in game, they literally reach out to me and say, hey, look, I pulled JayFish. And so I got to ask you, I didn't see it at first, but the more and more I've looked at it, compared it, I do think we look alike. Do you see it at all?
Yeah, I do see it a little bit. I think, I'm not clean shaven right now, but, in the game, I'm clean shaven, wearing a hat. I think I could definitely see how people get confused.
I was about to say, and so pretty much when they look at that and they send that to me, that's exactly because you aren't clean shaved right now. And I've seen some pictures where you had the mustache and the beard and everything. And so I was wondering when you joined the stream if you're going to be shaved or not. And so it's kind of hard to see now. But yes, in the game, you are clean shaved. And so some people also, they like to compare me. I don't know why it is, but they like to compare me to Tom Cruise, especially when I have on the aviators. And I don't know, but I think if you put on the aviators as well, you would kind of look like Tom Cruise. I don't know if you could see that as well.
I don't know. I haven't. I've never gotten Tom Cruise, but maybe with the Top Gun shades on, maybe I'd get that doppelganger.
I would say, is there anyone that you get compared to, like at all, that anyone like that they naturally compare you to, like I said, Tom Cruise? I feel like everyone says that.
The one that I've gotten a couple times is the comedian John Mulaney, if you know who that is. And
Never
of
heard of
course,
him
that's
before.
when I'm clean shaven too. Yeah, he's from Chicago, but he's a comedian, and I'll get that one every once in a while.
Is there anyone you get compared to when you have the facial hair, or is it just when you're clean shaved?
No, just clean shaven. I think I haven't got any comparisons with the facial hair yet.
So you mentioned Top Gun. Have you seen the new Top Gun then, I'm assuming?
Yes, I have. I saw it twice, actually. Once in when I was playing Round Rock in Las Vegas, when we were playing in Las Vegas, and then once in Oklahoma City when we were playing there. So I've seen it twice, and to see it twice, that means that I liked it.
I was about to say, I'm assuming you've seen the first one as well.
Yes, it'd been a while since I'd seen the first one. I probably should have actually rewatched it before I went, because
I was just about to ask that.
I was a little fuzzy on some of the stuff, but it kind of came back to me. And they did a good job, in the new one of tying everything together and the flashbacks. And I could have probably used a little refresher, but I had seen it. It'd just been a while.
Well, to make you feel better, I've seen it 4 times in theaters, and there's only two
Oh, dang.
movies I had seen more than once in the theaters, which was Endgame, Avengers Endgame, and then also Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. And so I had seen those twice. And then Top Gun, I saw it in the Dolby the first time with the hand sound. That was super cool. Like, and anyone that watched, like, has not seen it, you have to see it in the theaters. Like the sound of the jets and everything. It's something else. And then I saw it twice in normal theaters. And then I went to IMAX for the first time as well for the 4th time. And the only one I didn't get to see was the D box, where I think like your seats move or something like that in the 3D. So, um, yeah, I thought that was a great movie. Are you a big movie guy, or is it just certain movies? Do you like action or anything like that?
Yeah, I like movies. I like TV shows. During the season, there's a lot of downtime, after games, and so I'll watch movies. I really like going to the theater. So that's like one of my off day favorite things to do on an off day. And then after games and stuff is when I'll binge watch some of my TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, back during COVID, I remember that the theaters, they were showing old movies and stuff. Like they were showing old Indiana Jones and everything like that. And I mean, we literally go for like $5. And I'm a huge theater guy as well. I love going to the movie theater and seeing movies. I just love everything about movies. And so I mentioned Star Wars and stuff. Are there any like big franchises that you like Star Wars or Marvel? Are you a Marvel guy, DC guy?
I like Marvel. I've actually never seen any of the Star Wars movies. I mean, bits and pieces on TV, but I haven't gotten into Star Wars. But I really like all the Marvel movies. Um, and honestly, like as long as I'm going to the theater, I'll see pretty much anything. Um, and as long as I'm at the theater, I can get a popcorn. I'm in a dark room watching. Like I'll see anything. So maybe Star Wars will be next. I'll have to start the whole series. I know that's quite the undertaking.
So you haven't seen Star Wars. Don't tell me you're a Star Trek guy. And no offense to any Star Trek fans.
No, I'm not a Star Trek guy either. I haven't seen either Star Wars or
Okay.
Star Trek.
I must say my grandpa was a huge Star Trek guy, and I'm like, I couldn't get into that. And being a big Marvel guy, I got to know who's your favorite character then. Who's your favorite superhero?
Um, I mean, I really like Hulk. I'd probably go Hulk as my favorite. Captain America is a good one, and Iron Man. Between those three, um, that it would probably be between those three. And if I had to pick, I'd probably go Hulk.
Okay. I was hoping you would throw Iron Man in there because that's my number one. I mean, it's not even close. Robert Downey Jr. just played such a great part in that, and I like the Hawk and stuff as well. Captain America, it was tough after Civil War with him and Bucky.
Yeah,
It kind of got a little rough, and I didn't like him as much after that. But I mean, Steve's a good guy, so. But yeah, the Hawk,
yeah,
that was I think my brother's favorite as well. I love the Hawk and stuff. The only thing I didn't like about that was the fact that they did that first Hawk movie with a different actor and then they changed it. Same thing, kind of what they did
yeah.
with Rhodey and Iron Man. I would say, which one did you prefer? Did you prefer the guy that originally played the original Hawk or the Mark Ruffalo one?
I like Mark Ruffalo, and I mean I like him in other stuff too, which is probably why I like him as the Hulk. But yeah, I like Mark Ruffalo.
And so you mentioned that you also like to watch a lot of TV shows. I don't watch a ton of them. I used to watch a lot of TV growing up, but what are some of your favorite TV shows, like top 3, I should say?
Top three, number one's Dexter, um, hands down. Like that's pretty easy. Number two, probably The Sopranos. I hadn't watched that until this past off season and really liked that. And number three, I mean, I can't. It's so hard for me to narrow it down to just three. So I'll go
You can
wild
go
card
5 as
here,
well.
but five, okay. I'll go three. I'll go top three with my wild card right now being The Bear, which just came out recently on And it was a great series.
All right, so literally every single TV show you just mentioned, I've not heard of or seen. Can you elaborate a
Oh,
little bit
really?
more on your number one choice, Dexter? I have no clue what that show is.
Really? Okay, so it's like 10 years old. Because they actually just came out with another season recently, like, and probably in the winter and during the off season. That was like 10 years later in the show and in real life. But he Dexter is a serial killer that kills bad people. I mean, I guess that is very general way to say it. And there's maybe 6 or 7 seasons, and each season kind of has different goes a different direction and has a different storyline. But it's a really good show. It's worth a watch.
So what is it about that show that makes you enjoy it so much? Is it like action packed, or is it suspense, or like what is it that draws you to that show?
I think the characters are so interesting. Um, the action, some of the action, and um, but really it's just, him as a character, the role he plays. You know, he does a really good job.
And this is the last Marvel question I'll ask. Have you seen any of the Marvel TV shows as well, like WandaVision and Loki on all them?
No, not yet. I haven't gotten to those. So um, I know I need to. Those are. It's like hard enough for me to keep up with the movies and my other shows. So now I have to find a way to mix in the Marvel TV shows.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing with me and TV shows is being super busy and stuff. Like a movie, I can go sit down and watch it for 2 hours. Where a TV show, I mean, it's obviously a lot longer time. You have to binge watch, and so WandaVision is the only one I've actually watched thoroughly. The one of the Marvel TV shows, one of my favorite TV shows I've ever seen. I thought it starts out kind of odd, and if you ever watch it, you understand. It starts out weird, but then it goes into the normal Marvel stuff at the end. I thought it was really good, and then also, I don't know if you've ever seen Stranger Things. Have you ever seen that show?
Yes, I'm all caught up on Stranger Things. I can't wait for the new season, and they're going to keep us waiting.
So actually, I don't know if I'm gonna get any hate for this. I've never seen any of the other seasons besides season 4. So when it came out, my sister had it on TV, and I think it was the second episode. Like the first episode, I was like, I don't know what she's watching. And then I come back, and next thing you know, I'm sitting down like halfway through episode 2, and we watch all the way through like this 5th episode, and then we're just sitting there. All right, we got to finish this, and then we have to wait for that second series to come, like the second part with the other 2 episodes, and then I was hooked. I need to go back and watch the others, but that's probably one
Yeah,
of my top shows as well right now.
you were probably really confused by what was going on if you hadn't seen the first 3 seasons.
I was a little confused, but I think it was action packed enough to where you could just
Yeah,
pick it up and watch it. Same thing, I think, with like Top Gun. I suggest you go back and watch that if you've never seen it because it does tie in, but it's still a great movie just by itself.
yeah.
And so we have you on for an hour today, and that makes me wonder: have you ever been on a stream like this before, a live stream on YouTube or Twitch or anything like that?
No, this is my first time I've been on a live stream. You know, I'm not a huge gamer, but I know about Twitch. A lot of guys in the Clubhouse, um, you know, play and stream. So I know I hear them talking about it, but this is the first time I've been on a live stream.
I'm assuming you don't watch any streamers or anything like that, or do you watch any streamers at all? Like, do you watch any podcasts? It doesn't have to be video games.
So I actually watched. I think it was during COVID when the the league put together a stream for um, guys playing the show, and I just watched guys play a little bit. But that's pretty much the only stream I've watched.
So what's the most popular game then in the Clubhouse? You said there's always guys streaming and playing games.
I think Call of Duty. Everybody's always talking about Call of Duty. Um, and like before that, I think Fortnite for a while, guys were really into that. Those are probably the two games that I hear the most about, and also like two games that I've tried to play, you know, with different roommates I've had on the road or in spring training, and I'm really, really not good at them. They're pretty hard. I think that they're pretty hard. But those probably Call of Duty and Fortnite are probably like what I hear most guys talking about in the clubhouse.
So you don't game much, but you've played before. What have you played on? Do you play on PC, Xbox, PlayStation? What have you played on?
So when I play, you know, when I play with guys on the team, I'll play. I grew up playing PlayStation 2, so I'm more comfortable on PlayStation. But I've played on PlayStation and Xbox. And then just recently, last year, I got a Nintendo Switch. So I'm starting to game a little bit more, not a whole lot, but I have my Switch with me for road trips and in the hotel rooms, kind of to play when I'm bored.
So what kind of games do you like to play on your Switch then? I'm assuming you don't play Fortnite and stuff like that.
No, I played so last year I actually got Pokemon, which was like total blast from the past. Um
I think we're having some technical difficulties. I think he's frozen right now. All right, so while we wait for Nick to come back, let me look at the chat a little bit. We'll chat with you guys. I think he's having some internet problems or something. I don't know. Pull this up and look at the chat with you guys. Sorry guys about that. In the chat, we'll talk for a little bit before Nick comes back. All righty. Yeah, he's still thinking, guys. Yeah, he's frozen right now. I can see you guys in the chat right now as well. I'll chat with you guys. They're gonna try and get him back. I don't know if it was an internet thing. I think it has to be probably something with the internet, but he froze. I was sitting there. I didn't know if I froze or he froze, guys. I was confused. It's Ryan YT. What's up, guys? Matthew, how's it going? We'll be opening packs. Not today. Not today. Boy, how's it going? When's the next update? Not sure. Let's do some training now. Ben, don't get me started on the training. Oh man, 45ers, how's it going? Anyone that's just now joining, Nick is having some technical difficulties, so we will just be talking to you guys in chat for a few minutes, and we will be doing a Q&A with him as well. I just hope that we can get back. What have you missed? We've been chatting with Nick Solak today. That's all we're gonna be doing. Like I said, we're having some technical difficulties. I don't know if he lagged out or what. So, June, how's it going? Well, we started on time today, guys. We started on time. We didn't have technical difficulties at the beginning, but now we're having it midstream, which I think I'd rather have it. I think I'd rather have technical difficulties at the beginning. Volleyball time, how's it going? Thought your internet died. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was my end because when we were doing testing the other day, my screen froze as well. It froze, and I think it was on my end, so I have no clue what's going on with that. So. What's the best train for fingers? I have no clue. I'd have to see the card and what you're working with. It depends on the skills and stuff as well. You guys have watched any of the stream, any of the topics we've talked about. If you guys have any input and stuff as well, we can talk about that. Clips of update, I have no clue on the update or anything like that. How many do you think of these we'll do? We'll do a couple more. I don't know in terms of the schedule and stuff, but we plan on doing a couple more. Favorite MLB player of all time, Ken Griffey, of course. Hey Zeus, how's it going? Glad you can make it. Anyone just joining, by the way, like I said, we are having some technical difficulties with Nick. He froze up.
Are you there?
All right, he's back, guys. He's back.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're totally fine. So I think I think we lost you right at the game. We didn't hear what game, I think. No, it was Pokemon. You were talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, okay, so I got Pokemon for the Switch, and that's total blast from the past, right? I used to play on Game Boy, and it's literally the same exact game 20 years later, except now I'm playing on the Switch. And then Civilization 6 is another game. It's kind of um, like like world domination, world takeover, like Age of Empires kind of game. That's my other go-to.
So I've never heard of Civilization 6. I've never played Age of Empires. I don't know if I'm gonna get any heat for that as well. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what that game's about? Like, I'm guessing you just build up and I have no clue where to even begin.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty complicated. Like, there's a lot going on, but basically, to sum it like very generally, like you get dropped off as a settler on a map, and you start settling cities, building things. You meet other civilizations, you have to interact with them. So there's a lot to the game. There's a lot of strategy. There's different ways you can win. But it kind of very generally, that's it at a very basic level.
It kind of reminds me of Clash of Clans. Did you ever play back during the hype of Clash of Clans?
Yes, I used to play a little bit, and actually the guys in the clubhouse right now down here they're all playing in like a group. I haven't gotten back into it. They're probably a lot better than I would be if I re-downloaded it, but they're actually playing it again now.
I would say I didn't even know if that game still was around, because that was a big thing when I was in, I think, like middle school or high school. And actually, my one of my football coaches, he did an IT class, and literally he would just give an assignment, and he literally all the football players and him had a big clan together, and he literally played Clash of Clans with them all the time. Like he was insane. And then it kind of sounds like Sims. Have you ever played Sims? Obviously, Sims, you're not going and attacking other civilizations and stuff, but it sounds like you're just getting dropped off and you're building up a big city or something.
Yeah, kind of like Sims, I think. And then kind of like those games, and then similar board games, kind of like Risk or Settlers of Catan. I don't know if you've ever played either of those.
Nope. I'm obviously uncultured.
It's kind of got elements of all of those different games, but I mean it's pretty fun.
I grew up on the PS2, went to PS3, and I played sports games, I played shooters. My big game was MLB The Show. And then went to Xbox because all my buddies had it, and then I didn't play MLB The Show. Played a lot of shooters and stuff, and then I got back into MLB The Show. I play MLB Innings now. Have you played MLB The Show?
Yes, I have. I'm not very good at that either. That's another one that we'll play during spring training, with some of the guys who bring their consoles. But I like playing the show. I've played that a little bit here and there.
Did you ever play that growing up on the PS2 back when I think the first one was back in like 06 or 07?
Yeah, I think I had a couple baseball video games. I can't remember if it was the show or before that, like MVP baseball, and way back there was a college NCAA baseball. I remember having that too. So yeah, I used to play those on PS2, and then I took kind of a long break from playing, and now I play here and there. Usually just during spring training against the guys.
And I know you're not a big gamer, like you said, but did you ever be like, would that be cool to be in a video game like that? Because obviously you are. I mean, you're being in MLB. Is that cool to you or not, with not being a huge gamer?
I still think it's cool. Just to be able to turn on the game, and when I am playing, like play as myself and against and maybe against like the guy I'm playing with at that time. It's pretty cool to be in the game.
All right, so I'm gonna go back a little bit to your past. I want to get a little background information on you. So I know you grew up in Chicago, or not Chicago, Illinois, but your favorite team was the White Sox. How did that come about?
Yeah, I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, about 45 minutes outside the city. And my parents, they're originally from a little bit closer to the city, but the south suburbs. And south suburbs, south side is White Sox fans. Um, so they were born and raised White Sox fans. So that made me a White Sox fan.
And who were some of your favorite players growing up?
Man, there were a lot of good ones. I'd say some of my favorites were Paul Konerko, Scott Podsednik, Mark Burley. I got to watch the White Sox win the World Series in 2005. I was 10 years old, like height of baseball fandom, which was pretty cool. That whole playoff run was really cool. But yeah, I liked all those guys, and that team. It was pretty special.
And so you obviously are with the Rangers, but I don't know if you still like the White Sox the way you did, but with them being in the Field of Dreams game last year, did you watch that game where they played the Yankees and the walk-off and everything?
I watched some of the highlights. Yeah, I'm not like a White Sox fan like I was growing up. Just playing for the Rangers. But I watched some of the highlights from that game. Last year. I don't remember watching the whole game, but yeah, that was a crazy game.
And also, I saw that growing up, you played the saxophone. I know we're changing subjects a little bit. Is that true? Did you play the saxophone through elementary school and high school?
Yeah, I played through elementary and junior high. I stopped playing in high school, but I still have the saxophone, and I've actually during the off season last year was the first. I'd played it the 2 off seasons ago, but last off season I signed up for lessons. So I'm back into it a little bit. I don't know if I have gotten much better, but I've gotten back to like being able to play it a little bit, and have some fun doing that in the off season.
Growing up, all I did, I had to play the recorder in elementary school. So I was playing Hot Cross Buns. I was playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. And that's about as far as I got. Were you any good at it? Like, did you see yourself doing anything with music, or did you just do it? Was it required?
Um, I think I played the recorder too, and had music class that was required, and then I played the clarinet first. It's the same keys as the saxophone, and that was like I signed up for band, um, so it wasn't required, but it's something that I did for those years. I I didn't practice enough. I kind of hit a peak because I was practicing, probably because I was practicing baseball a lot more than my saxophone. But so like it wasn't. It's turned more into. It was more of a hobby, and something fun to do off the field.
So what made you choose the saxophone? You said you started with the clarinet. What made you switch over?
So I think so when we were signing up for instruments, you're not allowed to go straight to the saxophone. I'm not exactly sure why. Um, they don't let you do that, but because the keys are all the same on the sax or on the clarinet and the saxophone, that's very like a very natural transition. So I knew that I wanted to play the saxophone eventually. So starting on the clarinet was my bridge to the saxophone the following year in band, and then the next 4 years I played the saxophone.
Staying on the top of music, what type of music do you like to listen to, and like when do you listen to it? Are you a big music guy just in general, or is it just kind of whenever?
Yeah, I like music a lot. I mean, I'll listen basically to everything except country music. I'm not a huge country music fan. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. Um, but there's always music in the clubhouse. I've always got a playlist. When I'm driving to the park or on a road trip or at the airport, whatever. I'm pretty much always listening to something.
I listen to everything. I like country, so if that I like everything, including country. But what are your? We'll go top 3 artists then, just like we did TV shows at the moment.
Ooh, at the moment, top 3 artists. This one will be a little harder. I'm trying to think of like who I'm listening to right now. Um, I think um, I think I'll go like top artists of all time. Like my dad's a huge Rolling Stones fan, so I really like the Rolling Stones and classic rock. Um, so I've kind of been on a classic rock kick between the Rolling Stones, um, and then some more like some rock now, like the Black Keys. I'm listening to them. Um, so I'm kind of listening to rock right now. That's kind of where I'm at.
The Black Keys, I think they have a song called "Gold on the Ceiling." Have you ever heard that song before?
Yes.
I was say that was one of the songs in MLB The Show 12, and that's how I got into listening to Black Keys. So I listen to them as well. I'll listen to rock. I'm not a huge rock guy. I think my top 3, number 1, I had to say The Weeknd, and I don't know if you know some of these guys. And then
Hmm.
probably Khalid and Post Malone. I'll listen to rap and all that stuff, but I just think I like more of that vibe music. And I'm a weird cat. I don't know if you listen to music while working out, and I don't know how people don't. So I don't know if you do, but when I listen to music, some people have to listen to like hard rock or rap and stuff. Like I could literally work out and listen to any type of music. It could just be slower music, vibe music. Do you listen to music working out?
Yeah, usually they'll have it, in the gym at the field. They'll have it, playing on the loudspeakers. So it kind of just depends who gets
Mhm.
who gets it got there first and's playing their music. And I'll pretty much work out to anything.
And who has the best music taste in the clubhouse? Who do you want on the
Uh,
aux?
in the big leagues, Nate Lowe's always got really good music. And then, in the minor leagues, in Round Rock, DeMarcus Evans, he's got always got good music. So there's a lot of guys that have, you know, that are really good, that have really good playlists and they got it going on. So, you can trust them that when they got the aux that they're going to deliver something good for all the guys.
And in terms of prep, what is it like? What's a normal day like for you? I guess on a game day, and then also what's a game? I mean, what's a day like for you when you have an off day and you're practicing and stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, during the season on a game day, usually get to the park around 1 o'clock, for like a 7 o'clock game and have lunch. Usually, um, you know, have lunch, kind of take my time and, have a good lunch, hang out with the guys a little bit, and then uh, go to the gym, start kind of warming up, maybe work out, and then go to the cage, warm up hitting. And then after that, we take BP as a team on the field. And then usually after that, we kind of have meetings to go over the opposing pitchers. And then we'll have, a pregame meal and some downtime before the game. And then, that 7 o'clock start, game's usually done around 10, have food after, and then head home and kind of do that again the next day. So the the days of games are pretty long days, but there's a lot of fun stuff in there.
And then on an off day, I mean, you guys probably are you practicing together and stuff, but do you do all your workouts and stuff together as well on an off day, or how does that work? Is it just do it when you guys get time?
So off days are no practice or anything, just because we're doing so much practice and work every day between in the cages and in the weight room and batting practice. Um, so off days are like really off days. Like you kind of do whatever you want, and that's usually when I'll figure out when either when a movie is playing or something, or depending on what city we're in, something cool to go see or do in that city.
And so you mentioned that I don't know if you mentioned, but you've been up and down between AAA and MLB, correct? And you're currently in
Yes.
AAA?
Yes.
So question that I've had knowing this is, how are you able to keep a positive mindset and stay focused with, I guess, sort of the instability of being up and down between AAA and MLB?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of this game. The ups and downs, and um, you know, you always want to help whatever like the team that you're playing at win. Um, and I've found that if I just show up every day, try and help the team win, work hard, get my work in, that things kind of take care of themselves. And so that's kind of how I try and keep a positive outlook on it. Um, and I started the year on the opening day roster, and I played for about the first month and a half, and then I went to AAA, and then I went back up, and now I'm back in AAA. So it's all just kind of a part of it, and just to stay focused on always trying to get better, and get better at my craft, and keep going is kind of how I view it, and um, approach it to keep that positive outlook and mindset.
And with me doing content creation, I know it's different, but it's similar in the sense that, I mean, there's highs with it, there's lows, and there's times where I just want to sit there and question myself. I'm like, is this worth it? Is this really what I want to do? But then at the end of the day, I wouldn't continue doing what I'm doing just if I didn't enjoy what I do and love doing it. So I'm assuming part of that as well is because you love the game of baseball and it's something you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the game. I love playing the game every single day. I love the competition that it brings, and I think it, I right now I couldn't picture myself doing anything else. So I really that helps me stay pretty even too.
And so we had been talking a little bit about the clubhouse. And so baseball is a different sport in the sense that you don't have to go to college and play in college, but you decided to play in college and you went to the University of Louisville, correct?
Yes, I did.
Have you enjoyed your time more in the MLB or as a pro, I should say, over college, or did you enjoy college more with that atmosphere? Or can you make a comparison? Are they different enough to where you can't?
Yeah, they're totally different. It's really hard to compare them. And I think it's um, that's they're both just like such huge parts of my journey to get to where I've been today. Like without um, without my experiences in college, playing at Louisville and that program and the coaches and the other players I played with, without some of those experiences, wouldn't be where I am today. So it's hard to compare them, just because it had college really had such a strong impact on my playing career today, and where I am today.
And I mean, with college, you're still going to school. You have other things where I mean, in the pros, it's your job. You're getting paid to do it and everything like that. So I can see where it's hard to compare that. Especially, I was going to ask if the clubhouse, if that environment, if did you like the MLB clubhouse more than the college clubhouse, but I'm guessing it's hard to compare those as well, probably because they're different.
Yeah, totally different. They're hard to compare. Like you're like in college, it's you and a bunch of guys, and you're all worried about baseball and doing your best at baseball, but you're also like worried about class and like getting good grades, and so like and like in pro ball, right? You don't have to worry about school, and it's a job, but so yeah, they're totally different. But I mean, all in all, like clubhouses are a really cool place. They're a place where guys come together and help each other get better, help support each other in different ways. No matter what level it is, it's a unique place, and it's a really cool place.
And so, real quick, I want to go back a little bit, and I had looked something up, and I saw that apparently you were named after a sports bar named Nick's Sports Page. Is that correct, or is that just
Yes,
made
that
up?
is. No, that is correct. It was it's not there anymore. But south suburbs of Chicago in Dalton, Nick's sports page, and that's where my parents met, and that is that is what I am named after.
Yeah, well, my middle name is Dawson, and so that came from a show called Dawson's Creek that my mom watched. But my dad insists that I was actually named after Andre Dawson, the baseball player, because he's a huge baseball guy. And I actually got to meet him in LA during the All-Star weekend. And little story he told me, he was playing in a game and he made a bad call, and so he was arguing with them, and he ended up getting ejected. And so when he got ejected, he also got fined. And when he wrote out the check, he made it out to the blind, referring to the umps. So when he told that story, I was like, okay, I like this guy. He's a different cat, that's for sure. And speaking of getting ejected, have you ever been ejected from a sports match? I know that's kind of random, but
No, I have not. I have not been ejected. I try not to get ejected. No matter, I mean, even there's been some bad calls and I've got angry here and there, but I try to keep my cool enough to not get ejected.
yeah, I'm surprised I haven't gotten ejected. I've never have, but when I go between the lines, like I just have a different mindset. Like I don't know how I didn't, but um also, so your parents met at that sports bar, and then I believe you also met your now wife at a bar on campus at the University of Louisville. Is that correct?
Originally, we met at at a at a party
Hmm.
at like my freshman year, and my freshman year when I got there. But then when we so that was before we started dating. But then it was my first off season back at school, and she was in town. She had graduated, and she had already graduated. She was in town for an event, and that's when we ran into each other again at a bar in Louisville.
Okay, so you guys met at a bar, and that means I gotta ask this question. What's your go-to drink then? Obviously, I know you drink responsibly and everything if you do, but what's the go-to drink?
I mean, I'm actually not a huge drinker,
Mhm.
but I will. I mean, I usually just stick with beer. I'm a Miller Lite guy.
I must say, so I don't drink a ton. I actually just became legal back in June, and actually, we for my 21st birthday, I went to this upscale restaurant called Carlo and Johnny's, and I never had a cocktail before, and so I ordered this Manhattan, and
No,
I didn't realize all the parts that make up a Manhattan are alcohol based, but there's so many flavors and stuff, and it was so smooth. So I'm sipping it, and I'm about a little bit halfway, and next thing you know, I'm looking around at my family. I'm like, what is this? Is this seriously hitting me? I'm like, I'm about 6'3", 195. I'm not a small guy. Like, what is going on? And but say that was that was an experience. And then the cherries at the bottom that normally have the Manhattans, it's like the cherries on top, except they're at the bottom. So, but you said a Miller Lite guy.
yeah, I usually just you know have a beer, but I mean, I've had if I was to get a cocktail, it'd probably be a Manhattan, even though those are pretty strong.
I had no clue what I was getting into. But I say if I'm gonna have a beer, it's a Michelob Ultra, and I don't drink a ton either. But I would say I had, like I said, with the cocktail, the Manhattan, I had no clue what I was getting into, but it was good. It was good for sure. Um, and so I haven't asked you, what do you like to do in your off season? Like what are some hobbies you like to do? I've talked about what you do during your off days, but not what you do with your downtime in the off season.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe this off season I'll keep doing some more saxophone lessons. We'll see about that. I think during the off season I really like to cook. Um, you know, during the season, with how busy the schedule is, there's not a whole lot of time to cook. And a couple off seasons ago, I got a smoker, so I've been like smoking different barbecue meats and stuff. So, um, you know, I think that one of the things I'm most looking forward to in the off season is having the time to cook, meals for myself more often.
Yeah, a smoker. My dad, when he got the smoker, he says that's the best purchase he's ever made. I love you can cook anything in the smoker and it just tastes amazing. So
Yes.
is there any sports or any other thing you like to do besides cooking and stuff like that? Do you like to golf? Do you bowl? Do you do anything like that?
I don't golf. I'll go to Top Golf every once in a while. I'll go bowling a little bit here and there in the off season. I think, um, I'm trying to like my wife played volleyball in college. We'll hit a volleyball around every once in a while, but I'm not very good. I did just do 2 fantasy football drafts, so I like following football in the off season and, kind of playing, football GM. That's probably my big off season sport.
So okay, I was just about to ask about fantasy football too, because I actually had my draft, I think the other week. I gotta know, do you offhand know who your top picks were? Can you share that with us?
My top pick, I'm in 2 leagues. In 1 league, with the 5th pick, I got Derrick Henry, and then in the other league I had the 12th pick, and I got Devontae Adams. So we'll see. I always kind of think the draft's important, but kind of hit or miss because you never know, who's going to stay healthy and how guys are going to do. So, maybe this is my year.
So I don't know how people do multiple teams. I've done it once and I just couldn't keep up with it, but I have a league with all my buddies. And so I always was a guy that auto drafted because auto drafting, I was in the championship 2 or 3 times and it just seemed to work. But then last year I auto draft and it took Trevor Lawrence, a rookie QB, as my number one quarterback. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, I don't think I can auto draft anymore. So I had one this year, and I think I went Jonathan Taylor, number one pick. But instead of Trevor Lawrence, I was able to get Mahomes as my QB.
Oh
And then
yeah,
for backup QB, he's decent. I got Aaron Rodgers as well. That's my backup quarterback. So I think I
dang.
had a better overall draft. I'm not sure what some of the guys were doing in that league. I don't know if they all care about it as much. So yeah, that's I think it went a little bit better this season.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And so in terms of volleyball, you said you like to play with your girlfriend. Do you guys do sand volleyball or is it indoors or what do you do?
We'll just hit a ball around in the backyard, and um, she played in college. She played indoor court, and then sand as well. And I haven't played on the sand. She'll go. There's a like a restaurant and bar that has a bunch of courts, and she'll go play. I haven't made my way out there yet. I'm a little too intimidated. I don't think I could keep up. But we'll hit a ball in the backyard, or at least I'll try to just kind of pepper back and forth.
Yeah, sand volleyball is pretty tough. I've played a few times. I have some buddies that are in a league and they've had me fill in. I would say like volleyball is so much harder than it looks. It really is. Like just getting the right touch on the ball and making sure like you can keep it in play. It's tough.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure. Yeah.
for one more thing about the off season, where do you like to vacation? Do you get any vacation time?
We're usually pretty busy, just kind of traveling around. We usually, you know, we'll go. We'll usually try and go on like a one trip. I'd say like just for pure vacation. And we like to go to like Florida and stuff. So my wife and I got married last year, and we honeymooned in Florida for a week. That was really fun. I think this year we're gonna probably plan to go back to Florida for a couple days. So yeah, I think Florida and the beach is we both like the beach, so that's kind of the go-to spot for vacations.
Yeah, Florida's the same for me. Where specifically did you go to, like, the Keys or, like, Miami? Where did you go in Florida?
So last year for our honeymoon, we went to the Keys, and you know, partly some of the beaches in different spots, but then also my wife really likes deep sea fishing. and I get seasick, but because it was our honeymoon, I said that I would make it work and we'd go. So we got to go on a trip, and I'm not a fishing expert, but supposedly that's really good fishing down in the Keys, and we caught some fish, so it delivered as promised.
I've always wanted to go deep sea fishing. I fished a little bit when I grew up, but that's something I've always been wanting to do. Did you? I mean, I'm guessing that they were bigger than bass. Like you're probably catching some big old fish out there, right? Or did you not really catch any bigger fish like that?
Yeah, they weren't too big. I mean, I don't know how big they were. We caught mostly grouper.
Okay.
You know, so, and I don't know how big they were. Like decent size, but nothing like huge, like trophy fish. They're just good size fish. That we got to keep. So.
And one last thing before we get to the Q&A, you obviously went fishing, and fish can be pets. So I want to ask, do you have any pets?
Yes, I do. We have 2 dogs, 2 Cocker Spaniels, named Blue and Cheddar, like named after the cheeses. And then I grew up with my parents. I grew up with 2 Boston Terriers, named Minnie and Louie, after White Sox greats Minnie Minoso and Louis Aparicio. So, you know, my wife wants another dog, and we go back and forth between I want a Boston Terrier, and she kind of wants like a black lab. So we'll see if we can do 3 dogs.
I'm gonna say I always grew up with cats, and nothing against cats. I like them; they're cool. But I got a dog in high school. My brother got one, and now it's a family dog. And I don't think I could ever go back to cats. I don't think I'll ever get cats again. The dogs are just something else. They're like little kids. So I'm glad you're a dog guy. I was hoping you wouldn't say cats. Nothing against cats. Anyone that has cats as well. So
yeah,
all right,
definitely
and
a dog guy.
Yes. And real quick, we're going to go ahead and get to the Q&A. We got about 10 minutes until we're going to head out. So let me get some of these questions that have been sent over to me. All right. The first one is from Noah. And it asks, Nick, will you hit a home run for me?
I will try. Noah.
All right. And so the next one is Aaron K277. And it says, oh, no, I'm not reading that one. That's about the in-game stuff. Actually, Nick, you know what? Nick did just start playing MLB 9 innings. He said, "Can you go to the Reds in free agency?" And they need your help. And there's a free agency in the game. But no, I don't want you to go to the Reds just because I don't want them to ruin your career. They've struggled. They've struggled a little bit with some guys. So I'd stay far away from them, even though I'm a Reds fan. Let's see. Broken play. Now, this is a legit question. What has been your favorite baseball experience?
Ooh, that's a good question, and probably too hard to limit just to one. I'd say, so I'll go 3. My top 3. I'm really going top 3s here. First one would be playing in the College World Series in Omaha, my freshman year at Louisville. That was an incredible experience. We lost the first 2 games and were eliminated, but it was still like so cool. And that was I played for 3 really good teams while I was at Louisville, but we only made it to Omaha once. So that's a great memory. The second one would be getting drafted in 2016 by the Yankees. That was a really cool experience, really memorable, you know, and big realization of my dreams to continue from college to pro ball. And then the third one would be my major league debut in 2019. The ultimate dream come true to get to play in the big leagues, and to get my first hit, and have my family all there and everybody watching and cheering on. And those are 3 of my favorite baseball memories, and those are all really special to me.
I've always wanted to go to the College World Series. When you played, were you? I think they had a new stadium. Did you play at the older stadium or was it at the newer one? I don't remember what year that they changed the stadium. I think they
I
built a new
played
one.
at the new one. I played at the new one.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
you
it's
on
really
that one.
nice.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I'm about to say I wish I think my dad and brother got to go to the old one. They haven't been to the new one, but I figured that the new one's really, really nice. It looks really cool on TV.
Yeah.
Let's see. David asks, what is the Rangers clubhouse vibe? If you can, I guess, explain that.
Yeah, I mean it's you know, like I'm trying to, how do you explain a clubhouse vibe? I mean it's a group of guys that goes to work every day trying to win, and guys that want to win. I think when um, that pretty it's kind of how the clubhouse is when I'm in the big leagues, and then even when I'm in AAA and Round Rock, it's just a group of guys that want to go out there and win every day, and they're gonna help each other and try and get the best out of each other.
Jorge Perez asks, who do you think is going to win the World Series?
I don't know. I don't have a prediction. But we'll see.
Okay. I figured you might not have any idea on that one. Michael asks, who is your favorite MLB player of all time? So you listed some of them. Are you able to narrow it down to one?
So some of those guys. So those are my favorite White Sox guys that I listed earlier. Some of my favorite, probably my favorite player of all time is Derek Jeter. And I if I had to narrow it down to one player of all time, I'd go Derek Jeter.
Ben R asks, what kind of car do you drive?
SUV, a Lexus SUV.
Okay. Billy Ball Time said, who's the toughest pitcher you've ever faced?
There's a lot of good arms. I don't usually like to answer this question either. I mean, I'm not answered that one, but there's a lot of really good arms that are like that. Is always good competition, tough at bats, but I don't have an answer to that one right now.
Well, I'm just gonna say this: have you faced DeGrom before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I didn't know if you had or not. So okay. First pick. I don't know. Did you give the first pick? I know you said you picked fifth. Was that the fifth? That was the fifth pick of the first round, right? So you did give that first pick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember
that
if that
was
was
Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mitchell asked, what football team did you grow up cheering for?
Being from Chicago, I'm a Bears fan. It's okay.
Well, I mean, you guys got Justin Fields, and that's pretty much about all I can think of. That's great over there right now.
I know. Hopefully this year he, I'm looking forward to watching how he plays this year. And new coach, new GM, and they made a lot of changes. So we'll see how they do.
I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I'm a Ohio State guy living in Cincinnati, so I want to see him do well. So I'll cheer for the Bears as well with you. Dozer Crew says, hey, just got here. I was wondering what Nick's favorite stadium to play at is.
I'd say my favorite place to go play has been Baltimore against the Orioles. I didn't play there this year I know they put up like a new wall in left field. But in the past, I really like going there. It's kind of got a good mixture of kind of, like some updates with keeping some of like the, classic baseball vibes. And, I like the area that the park is in. And, that's usually one of my favorite trips every year.
And so going to your home stadium. You're at Globe Life Field now. You got to play. Did you ever get to play in the old Ranger Stadium though?
Yeah, that's where I debuted, was in the old park.
Which stadium do you like more?
They're too hard to compare. They're different. You know, there was a lot of history at the old park. You know, but not, you know, the new park is state of the art. It's got a roof for those hot, you know, summer days. But you know, hard to compare. They're both, you know, they're both great parks.
Well, Nick, we appreciate you coming on with this stream. And before we head out, do you have anything to say to our fans and your fans as well?
Just thanks for listening. Thanks for having me on. That was a lot of fun. Just kind of, you know, getting to talk and share some things. So thank you for having me on.
Well, we're glad you joined us. We're glad to gotten to know you a little bit better. And that's going to pretty much do it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, like, subscribe. Highly appreciate that. And thank you again, Nick, for coming on.
Thank you.
But you got me holding heaven. Take me to a crowded place, and I know all I see is the way that you breathe. Hit me like a hurricane, and I know all I need is your love next to me. Oh, I keep sinking into your blue, into your blue. Yeah, I keep sinking into your blue, into your blue, right into you. Oh, I keep sinking into your blue, into your blue. Yeah, I keep sinking into your blue, right into you. Oh, I keep sinking into your blue, into your blue. Yeah, I keep sinking into your blue, into your blue. Stars, I keep seeing stars in